now invite the dignitaries on the dais for lighting of the auspicious candle and seek the blessings of Goddess Saraswati, the Goddess of Knowledge.
या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिः देवैकदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा.
May I now invite the President, Dr. Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil, to welcome the guest of honor, Dr. Ranjit Patil, Minister of State for Home, Urban, State of Maharashtra. May I now invite President Dr. Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil to welcome the guest of honor, Mr. Rajesh Tope, former Minister for Higher and Technical Education, State of Maharashtra. May I now request the President, Dr. Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil, to welcome the guest of honor, His Excellency Dr. David G. Pollard, High Commissioner of Guyana to India. May I now invite the Vice Chancellor, Dr. E.B. Khedkar, to welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Abdullah Al Shaibani, CEO of City Properties and a leading businessman from Dubai. May I now invite the Vice Chancellor, Dr. E.B. Khedkar, and Governing Board Member, Shri Hidesh Deshpande, to welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Nandita Palshetkar, and felicitate her on being elected as the President of the Federation of Obstetric and Gynecological Societies of India.
The reason I became a doctor is my mother. While she may not be with me today, her blessings will be there forever. I start my day early. The view that I wake up to gears me up to face the world. Family time in the mornings is a must. And I spend some quality time with my darling granddaughter Zuri. There's another little one at home who must be pampered as well. A doctor's life is inspiring, to say the least. You never know what's coming your way, who you meet, and whose life you can change. My patients give me purpose towards achieving perfection. And in our case, perfection means life. Miracles are another word for hard work, belief, and perseverance. And my work is my calling. My father taught me by example. Through his life, I understood the true meaning of vocation. There is no shortcut. to achieving greatness, he said. And if you love what you do, you can never feel tired. And so I go on relentlessly to care and to change lives. Greatness cannot be achieved without sacrifice and support. I have a family that has not only understood my sacrifices, but also have supported me in this journey. Which is why, when I'm not working, I'm always with them. My husband Pradeep has been my pillar of strength and support, and I cherish every moment that we can spend together. He isn't a doctor, but he has a roll number, 201 at JJ, because he's been there by my side, supporting me through it all. My son Rohan is my best friend and my advisor, and I'm so proud of who he has become today. Of course, a little me time is always required to refresh my thoughts and strengthen my goals. Family equals legacy, and we are blessed to have such a vast legacy to carry forward. And just like my father taught me, today I teach my son and all of India that a legacy is etched into the minds of others and the stories they share about you. How many lives you touch doesn't matter. It's how you touch those lives, and that is what it comes down to. I'm a doctor, a teacher, an IVF specialist, a daughter, a sister, a mother, a grandmother and a wife. But most importantly, I'm here to change lives. I am Dr. Nandita Palshetkar.
Honorable President, may I request you to declare the convocation open.
I declare the third Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil University convocation open.
Award of merit medals by the President and Vice Chancellor will now commence. I present to you, Sir, Ruchika Sharma, topper of the Master of Law program, for the award of gold medal in the name of Shri and Srimati KVSD and KLVK Memorial. I present to you, Sir, Ankit Soni, topper of the Master of Design in Automobile Design program, for the award of gold medal. I present to you, Sir, Nupur Chachara Sharma, topper of the Master of Technology in Digital Manufacturing program, for the award of gold medal. I present to you, Sir, Aditya Liladhar Talele, topper of the Master of Technology in Automotive Product Design, Product Engineering program, for the award of gold medal. I present you, Sir, Apruti Agarwal, topper of the Bachelor of Business Administration in Media and Communication, for the award of gold medal. I present you, you, Sir Sonakshi Upadhyay, topper of the Master of Business Administration Media and Communication program for the award of gold medal. I present to you, Sir Chirag Uppal, topper of the Master of Business Administration in Business Innovation and Strategy program for the award of gold medal. I present to you, Sir Nalini Singh, topper of the Master of Business Administration in Human Resource program for the award of gold medal. I present to you, Sir Ashna Tandon, topper of the Master of Business Administration Digital Marketing and E-Commerce program for the award of gold medal. I present to you, Sir Rohit Suresh Albude, topper of the Master of Business Administration Business Analytics program for the award of gold medal. I present to you, Sir Abhimanyu Chauhan, topper of the Master of Business Administration Banking and Financial Services program for the award of gold medal in memory of Srimati Pushpalata D. Patil. I present to you, Sir Gaurav Garwal, topper of the Postgraduate Diploma in Digital Modeling program for the award of gold medal. I present to you, Sir Drona Panchal, topper of the Bachelor's in Business Administration in International Business Program from School of Design for the award of gold medal. I present to you, Sir Roshni Jagtap, topper of the Bachelor of Computer Applications in Mobile Application and Cloud Technology program for the award of gold medal. I present you, Sir Roshni Jagtap, topper of the Bachelor of Computer Applications. I'm sorry, sir. The award of degrees will now commence.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now call upon the Honorable Vice Chancellor to offer the welcome address and present the university report.
Before starting, I seek blessings of Sri Mahaganpati and Sri Satya Sai Baba. Honorable Guest of Honor of the Convocation, Dr. Ranjit Patil, Minister of State for Home, Urban, State of Maharashtra. Honorable Sri Rajesh Tope, former Minister for Higher and Technical Education, State of Maharashtra. Honorable Mr. David Pollard, High Commissioner from the Cooperative Republic of Guyana to the Republic of India. Honorable Dr. Abdullah Shaibani, CEO of City Properties and the leading businessman Dubai. Honorable President of Ajeenkya Patil University, Dr. Ajeenkya Patil. Honorable Dr. Nandita Palsetkar, the President of the Federation of Gynecological Societies of India. Honorable members of the governing body, Board of Management and Academic Council. Honorable deans of the various faculties, distinguished guests, press graduates, students, my colleagues, teachers, administrative staff, parents and media representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, Today on this auspicious occasion of the third convocation ceremony of Ajeenkya Patil University and Innovation University, on behalf of all the members of Ajeenkya Patil University and on my behalf, I extend to you all a very warm and hearty welcome. Before I speak anything, I must express my deep sense of gratitude to our guest of honor of the day. It is a memorable occasion and a landmark for all of us to have our esteemed guest, Dr. Ranjit Patil, Sri Rajesh Topeji, Mr. David Pollard, and Dr. Nandita Palsetkar amongst us today. Dr. Ranjit Patil is a member of Maharashtra Legislative Council. He was appointed as Maharashtra's Minister of State in December 2014 with the portfolio Home Urban Development, General Administration, Law and Judiciary, and Parliamentary Affairs. Later in the same month, he was also given responsibility of being Guardian Minister of Akola District and Wasim District. Sri Rajesh Tope is a leader of NCP and a member of the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly and has served as Higher and Technical Education Minister, Maharashtra State. And during his tenure, he has done remarkable and commendable work. He has played instrumental role in the growth of both the Tehsils from Jalna district, Ambat and Gansavangi, falling in his constituency. Mr. David Pollard is the High Commissioner from the Cooperative Republic of Guyana to the Republic of India. Having taken up post in September 2016, he has been involved in charitable and public service roles and is past chairman of the Board of Trustees of Generating Genius, an educational charity in England. He is a member of the Institute of Directors, Pall Mall, London. Dr. Abdullah Al-Shaibani is a leading and renowned businessman of Dubai. His real estate business is one of the most successful in the UAE market. He is a man of the great values and believes that properties are not mere buildings, but rather environments for those who occupy them. Dr. Nandita Palsetkar, who is recently elected as the President of Federation of Gynecological Society of India and being a renowned person in Maharashtra as far as the gynecological doctor is concerned. Honorable guests, the people of Pune city in general and Ajeenkya Patil University fraternity in particular, feel greatly honored and join me in sharing the pleasure of having you all with us and express their gratitude. On their behalf and on my own, I welcome you all with greatest reverence and highest admiration on the occasion of your visit to this prestigious seat of learning, the Ajeenkya Patil University situated in Pune, known as Oxford of the East. We look forward to having your advice, directions and blessings on this great occasion. It is an honor and privilege. It is my highest privilege to warmly welcome Honorable President of Ajeenkya Patil University, Dr. Ajeenkya Patil, a man of towering stature in social as well as an educational circle. He has a natural curiosity for technology and innovation and a penchant for world-class quality. It is his exemplary vision that led to the initiation of Ajeenkya Patil University. He is keen on creating a world-class university which is a global provider of education, environment-friendly and spiritually oriented. On this occasion of the third convocation ceremony of Ajeenkya Patil University, I am happy to share some of my thoughts with you. Ajeenkya Patil University and Innovation University caters to the educational needs of the students from across the country and beyond, especially for those students who look forward towards an enriching career or those who wish to begin an entrepreneurial journey. The university has concentrated on the holistic development of the student to make them wholesome and healthy citizens of the country by providing them high quality higher education and the best infrastructural facilities. Within 3 years of its beginning, the university has grown by leaps and bounds. Today, it offers 54 unique programs under 9 schools of study in areas of design, film and media, engineering, innovation and strategy, law, financial services, banking, digital marketing, e-commerce, business analytics, liberal arts, PhD, and many more. Today, we will be also honoring with delight to Sri Congressman Todd Rokita, United States House of Representatives, Ms. Anita
there was a social worker for children's causes, Miss Yuli Tamit, President, Senkar College of Engineering and Design, Israel, Mr. Kazuo Tanaka, President and CEO, GK Design Group, Incorporation, Japan, Mr. Neeraj Shah, Executive Director, ANG Banking Group Limited. I offer my congratulations to all the students who are graduating today and wish them all the success and prosperity for the future. I also wish to express my appreciation to the staff of Ajeenkya Patil University for assisting the students in their educational and life journey during these defining years, and for contributing to make this university a place of excellence and fine achievements. I would like to congratulate their proud parents and teachers for their precious contributions in shaping the academic career of these children, and appreciate the efforts taken by them. Your accomplishments, the fruits of hours, days and years of toil, is a significant achievement which would not have been possible without the support and encouragement of your parents, friends and well-wishers who sit proudly in our audience today. I sincerely hope and wish that the graduates should live by the traditions and values inculcated by the university. Ladies and gentlemen, Ajeenkya Patil University has concentrated on the holistic development of the students to make them wholesome and healthy citizens of the nation by providing quality higher education. Keeping this in mind, I feel enthused to share with you a few important highlights about the activities and unique approach to education at Ajeenkya Patil University and Innovation University. The polish of innovation at every step drives all our efforts. We at Ajeenkya Patil University strongly believe that innovation, inspiration, imagination and intuition can create sustainable solutions for the world in today's highly competitive and disruptive arena of social and economic problems. And as a university pursuing excellence, we are committed to imbibe this approach among our students. Last academic year, we not only worked towards academic excellence but also towards creative fronts, constructive interactions with industry collaborations with the globally renowned universities, applications of indigenous ideas, ties with strategic industry partners, national and international conferences, master classes by renowned personalities, academics and technical infrastructure building, and many other wonderful activities which helped our students gain a unique experience, establish themselves in their lives and create their success stories. We have introduced many innovative and interdisciplinary programs like MTech in Bioengineering, MTech in Computer Engineering, MBA in Strategic Marketing, etc. New high-tech biotechnology laboratory was installed in the university campus. National and international level conferences were successfully organized. Eminent personalities like Mr. Varun Gandhi, Anil Gupta, and the like inspired our students with their ideas and views. Several industry personalities came and motivated our students with real ideas. I am pleased to share with you that Ajeenkya Patil University has been honored with the Best Private University Award of the year 2018 by Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India, and also Award for Excellence Innovative University of the year 2018 by Asia Africa Development Council. We have achieved impressive academic result of more than 85%, and our students have also achieved 85% placement in their first attempt itself. Ajeenkya Patil University passionately endeavors to make its students and their knowledge global in real sense. Every year, many Ajeenkya Patil University students travel to different countries in order to explore new horizons of knowledge under the university student exchange program. Ajeenkya Patil University students visited University of South Carolina, USA campus, and they got an opportunity to learn and complete a few modules on entrepreneurship and leadership development in an intellectually charged global environment of University of South Carolina, USA. Students from School of Design visited the Kukmin University at Seoul, South Korea for a fortnight. The university has tied up with more than 20 universities in the world. Every year, Ajeenkya Patil University forms constructive alliances with many academic institutions of repute. Last academic year, university has signed a tie-up with three: Patil University, Thailand, Senkar College, Israel, and Holland Institute of Technology, Israel, and Institute of Technology, Carlo, Ireland. Innovation is the central guiding principle of Ajeenkya Patil University, and it reflects in all aspects and functions of the university. Innovation is the teaching and learning process is at the heart of the university. One of the innovative approaches implemented in the university is project-based learning approach, which takes students beyond the textbook into the practical realm of activities. This approach enables students to be more experiential and work on the real-life problem scenarios. In academic year 2017-18, the French brand Uzo decided to team up with top tier UK and Performance PR Limited to modify HM Ambassador into a Uzo 208 GTI. DYPDC School of Design had the pleasure to receiving this project. The challenge was not just about modifying an Ambassador into a Peugeot, but to do so in just the matter of 6 to 8 weeks, led by faculty members Professor Kushal Jadhav and Professor Ashish Nar along with Mr. Parth Dudia and Mr. Siddharth Rath as apprentices. DYPDC started the journey of incredible challenges from November 2017. The team relentlessly worked on this for almost 900 working hours in total. After 8 long, rigorous and testing weeks, the team finally managed to achieve the desired objective of transforming an ambassador into a Peugeot. The university helps to develop competitive spirit through many unique competitions which take place on the Ajeenkya Patil University campus. Last academic year, various university schools arranged many competitions and students were inspired to participate. This delivers students a unique opportunity of learning the things in competitive way. Students are also encouraged to participate in national and international competitive events. University students of engineering participated in various robotic competitions held at various eminent institutes like BITS Hyderabad, BITS Goa, ALE Technological University Karnataka, and bagged first, second and third prizes in these places. In the words of Sri Satya Sai Baba, teachers are reservoirs from which, through the process of education, students draw water of knowledge. Following this preaching, in addition to day-to-day learning from the on-campus faculty members, what makes the students more enthusiastic to learn is learning from internationally renowned professionals in their respective fields of knowledge. All schools under Ajeenkya Patil University organize extensive seminars and guest lectures by internationally well-known industry experts and professionals. Some mentionable names are Mr. Tomio Isogai, a Japanese management expert, Professor James Wood Hussain, Professor Kus Isen, former head of drawing at Delft University, Professor Shanku from South Korea, Mr. Gregory Hill Young, a senior designer at General Motors Europe, and many more. Every year, all schools of Ajeenkya Patil University invite many experts and renowned industry professionals to arrange workshops for students. Many workshops on various interesting and current topics were conducted in the academic year 2017-18. Some of them are Internet of Things, instrumentations, mobile application development, network security, cloud computing and virtualization, and ethical hacking. Ergonomics, vehicle ergonomics, virtual communication, product planning and strategic branding, motorcycle design and sketching, scenario development and concept art. The School of Film and Media organized a 2-day workshop on music, choreography and production. Two of our students, Rahul Nair and Anusha Askari, created original music compositions. Udna hai sare sapne mere and Jeena hai mujhe. Every year, the Ajeenkya Patil University organizes various national and international events, master classes, conferences and symposia. Students get to participate in such events and get an opportunity to expand their intellectual horizons. Last year, Ajeenkya Patil University witnessed many such events which delivered inspiration, imparted motivation, enhanced in the insight and prompted many to action. The Ajeenkya Patil University School of Law organized an international conference on protection of rights of indigenous people in the hallowed presence of the chief guest, Mr. Leonard Reid, the Consulate General of Canada, Mumbai, and Ms. Sarah Dean, the National Education Coordinator at the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation in Canada. In the golden words of Neil Armstrong, research is creating new knowledge. The Ajeenkya Patil University management always encourages students and faculties to conduct research in all fields of knowledge like languages, literature, technology, management, engineering, journalism, law, design, marketing, pure and applied sciences, and many more. Many of our faculty members publish research papers in leading national and international journals. Professor Dr. Biswajit Champati, the head of the School of Engineering, received the most prestigious ISER Young Scientist Award 2017 at the 203rd International Conference on Science, Technology, Engineering and Management on July 2017 in Vienna, Austria. Dr. Manju Rugwani, the senior faculty member of the Ajeenkya Patil University School of Film and Media, won Key to Success Award 2018 as one of the successful women in Pune for excellence in the field of media education. Before I conclude, I would like to give a very useful piece of advice to you all by quoting Abraham Lincoln's famous quote, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." So, focus on your dreams, be prepared to take calculated risks, and do not get discouraged by failures. In fact, there is no such thing as a failure. Strive to realize your fullest potential. I am sure each one of you will leave your unique footprints of excellence. Dear students, I wish each one of you the very best in whatever endeavors you may embark on. May these days your life be a special one, a significant one, and the start of something beautiful. Here I shall convey my wishes through a beautiful Sanskrit words. Bhaskarasya yatha tejo makarastasya vardate tathaiva bhavata tejo vardatamiti kamaye. It means, just as the sun's rays gets advances from the auspicious occasion of Makar Sankranti, likewise, I wish you all students an accelerated growth, success and fame in your glorious future endeavor. Thank you.
May I now call upon Honorable President to deliver his presidential address.
I seek the blessings of Sri Satya Sai Baba. I invoke the Almighty to bless this gathering, because of who this world is evolving, moving, and without His will, we don't succeed or do anything. So I seek the blessings of Sri Satya Sai Baba. My father was also here a few minutes ago. However, he's not keeping too well, so he had to leave, but his wishes are with us. Because of him, I stand here. Because of him, this university stands here. Because of him, lakhs of engineers graduate. Because of him, lakhs of doctors graduate. Because of him, so many people have got employment. Because of him, we know what education is. So I salute and bow to him in reverence, and we miss him at this convocation. But his blessings remain with you. I would like to welcome the Honorable Minister, Dr. Ranjit Patil. I'm very grateful that in spite of his busy schedule, he took out time to come to be present at this convocation ceremony. And being a doctor himself, he knows the subject well. He's quite a gentleman. I have interacted with him on several occasions. And he's just not a politician, but an excellent human being as well. So I thank Dr. Ranjit Patil for coming here for this convocation. Thank you, Honorable Minister. I would also like to thank Sri Rajesh Topeji for coming here. Sri David Pollard, the Ambassador of Guyana in India. Dr. Abdullah Al-Shahbani, who is visiting us from the UAE. Thank you, Dr. Abdullah, for coming all the way from Dubai to come for this gathering. I would also like to welcome Dr. Nandita Palshetkar, who sits on our board but is also the Foxy chairman. So I invite her in that capacity, because not only is she my sister, but she's also an outstanding doctor and has achieved merit in her own field, and is almost gaining prominence to an extent where she'll match up with my father very soon. So Dr. Nandita, well done. I would like to welcome Dr. Makran Zavdekar, because of who we have a lot of association overseas. He's known my father for many, many years. I would like to very warmly welcome him. I would like to welcome Sri Dilip Chhabria ji, Sri Nihal Karware ji, and Sri Sudhir Mehta ji. I think today is a very important occasion for all you students because this is one occasion where the students really look forward to. It's the graduation day that they're all excited about, wearing these gowns, getting over with these boring speeches and then finally throwing your hats in the air. So I won't bore you for too long. We promise to keep it short and sweet because we are an innovation university. We like to innovate things, but we can't do away with the gown. The gown stays. So I think you can't come in t-shirts and jeans yet. I think the gown gives a certain elegance to this whole ceremony. And I quite like this occasion because it's a way to celebrate our success, a way to get together and a way to understand each other. So I was just having a conversation with Minister Patil and he mentioned about time, and I told him in spite of your busy schedule, you happen to come here. And he said, no busy man is ever busy for anyone. And I quite like that statement because I think the essence of time is very important, because when you go out into the real world, I think you must have the value for time. I learned about time management many years ago. There was a British gentleman who taught me about time management. Because sometimes as Indians, we don't give relevance to time. Sometimes we are okay if we are 5 minutes late, we are 10 minutes late. But I think we need to value time a lot. I look at the time very differently. People often say, I'm busy, I don't have the time. We today employ more than 10,000 people within our educational system. And I would say that 10,000 divided by 12 hours is 120,000 hours. And that's the time I have at my disposal. So I think if someone says that you don't have time, I think it's irrelevant. You have to make time, you have to combine your time and use it for productivity to bring about the results. So value time wherever you go. It's a very important emotion that you carry. Perhaps you may not understand the gravity of what I'm saying today, but time doesn't wait for everyone. You have to utilize every single minute that you've got. You are in your youth, soon you will grow. And I think you have to make the most of what you have, the young energy that you need to channelize. Today the world is changing very rapidly. I think we see a sort of enhancement of technology going around our world. We see the world evolving rapidly. Systems are changing, processes are changing, people's thoughts are changing. And I think the youth is changing as well. But I think don't get carried away with what the world tells you to do. Don't get carried away with what somebody will advise you. Do take advice. But end of the day, I think you have to desire what you want to do from within your heart. Because I think it's very important for you to do what you really like, not what the world throws at you. Create your own world, create your own imagination, create your own institutions. Because end of the day, you have to do what really pleases you. And I think at our university, we try to mold our children in that way. We try to teach our children that you don't have to be just some student passing out of this organization. You have to be that different individual who brings about valuable change to society. We are a very new university. We are a very young university. And I think we are evolving over time. We take a lot of active feedback from a lot of stakeholders, including students, staff, the public in general. We have a lot of academic advisors from different parts of the world. Our syllabuses are based from around the world, from different academic intellectuals. And I think we are evolving all the time, because if we don't evolve, we get lost. The world is changing very rapidly, and I think we need to change rapidly as well. And hence we call ourselves the Innovation University. Now you would say, why we call ourselves the Innovation University? Because there are hundreds of universities. Now how do we do things differently? We don't believe in the conventional way of teaching. We don't believe in the conventional way of education, because I think education itself is changing. Sometimes I just feel that a teacher comes into a classroom and he teaches the children, and the children are registering what he's saying. So the process of transferring the teacher's notebook into the pens and books of the children is what traditionally education is all about. And nothing goes into the mind. And I think teaching should all be about something going into the mind, the knowledge encompassing you, the knowledge capturing you. And I think that's how teaching should evolve. But of late we see that many processes that we evolved over, traditional educational systems that we faced with, are just churning out engineers, just churning out doctors, without any understanding of what the future holds for these children. Ideally, a child should come into an organization or an institution, I call a university, and should feel that this is what I wish to do, this is what I want to become, this is the dream that I have, and this is what I will create, this is what I will achieve. And that's what a real university is. It's very difficult, it's a challenge. But I guess as an innovation university, we are trying to do our best. Many of you may find our unconventional way of teaching a bit controversial. Many of you will appreciate our unconventional way of teaching. But I think it's a mix of all the systems that really evolves and creates a beautiful student that goes out into the real world and becomes a success to talk about, to speak about, and to emulate about. So we will strive to be different, we will do things differently, and we keep on focusing on how our children can go out and change the world. I often keep talking about technology. Technology is sort of decentralizing everything. I think in the last 20 years, the way technologies touched our lives in a way that it's not been touched for hundreds of years. We've not seen this kind of technological evolution in our lifetimes. I grew up in the analog world as well as the digital world. I'm seeing the best of both, but many of you will not know what the analog world was. But I think what technology is also doing is democratizing knowledge. It's decentralizing power. And I think knowledge should not be anybody particular's monopoly. Knowledge should be everyone's monopoly. Knowledge should be available plentifully, freely, and at a very low cost. And I think technology is evolving. Technology is allowing that. Again, I would make a very awkward statement. Perhaps it's a dichotomy for me to say that technology is giving education in a meaningful way at a very affordable cost, because universities such as ours would face a challenge in the future if technology allowed the teaching to happen out of the class, out of these classrooms. And it will happen, because the new generation that you see will be learning on virtual teachers, virtual holograms, and new technologies that are evolving. And I think it's the move in the right direction, because knowledge should not be deprived. I think even in the Vedas, if we look at our ancient scriptures, the word shikshan, when it's mentioned, the literal translation of shikshan is learning at every moment. And that doesn't happen in our universities. That doesn't happen in our schools. In our schools, in our universities, it's a pursuit of gaining a degree. It's a pursuit of gaining a diploma. And I think that's what the benchmark is, that yes, parents think that I will put my child into a particular university and he will graduate and he will make a life for himself, which is fine. But it was almost like an insurance policy which is getting more and more expensive, because education is getting expensive. To get good resources, to get good teachers, to set up good facilities, money is required, and money can't be supplemented by anything else except money. But I feel that when you put your child in an educational institute, it should not be just for the purpose of the degree that he achieves. I think you should sit down with your child, understand what he or she really wants to do. Because it's not the degree that makes you, it's really what you do in life that makes you. Many of the top people who have succeeded in the world really don't have degrees. They might not have degrees from Stanford, they might not have degrees from Harvard, but they employ people from Stanford, they employ people from Patil. For example, I take the example of our former Chief Minister, Shri Patil, who was only past grade 4. He just graduated in the grade 4. But I would like to tell you, because many of you young people wouldn't know the history of these politicians, in 1983, he took a decision that we must privatize education. And people are wondering that there is this man who has not graduated in the 4th standard and is talking about education. I'm also talking about my father, because he came from a village in Kolhapur, he came from Amba. And when he used to talk about private education, people used to look at him and laugh at him. They used to say that, who is this villager? Who is this farmer? This Maharashtrian man, what does he know about education? The IITs know about education, the VJTIs know about education, the academics know about education, and the intellectuals know about education. Education is a state subject. Education is a country subject. It is by policy planners and thinkers. But believe it or no, because of Shri Patil, education was privatized, and because of him, lakhs and lakhs of engineers have come out of the system of Maharashtra. So I think you need to understand really that there needs to be a will, there needs to be a real passion, there has to be a burning desire within you to change the system, to create a system that you will create. You imagine it, and anything is possible. So I would like to talk about certain things. I spoke about the university a little bit, and We have a Vice Chancellor who's heading this university. Under his leadership, the university flourishes. We have a lot of outstanding academics in our university. Hridesh Deshpande works very closely with me, and he's an intellectual of immense capacity. Because sometimes when we brainstorm and talk about the ideas, the ideation that comes out of these individuals is something beyond my imagination, because what I feel sometimes is science fiction becomes science fact at our university. And believe me, a day will come where each and every student from this university will feel, yes, that I graduated from a university which is truly an innovative university. Innovation will continue to happen in this university. Many cutting edge things we've offered in our university. For example, now we've tied up with partner institutes all over the world. We have strategic alliances with universities in different parts of the world, which include the United States, Japan, Israel, South Korea, even Thailand. So there's not any part in the world which we've left where our teams are not reaching out, because we want to get the best of everything that's available in the world and bring it to this university. Talent exists everywhere. Talent is not black, talent is not white. Talent is talent, and I think it needs to be tapped. And when talent comes together, works for the greater good, then we can create wonderful, wonderful things. I'm happy to say that the generation that I call you, the Z generation, that's how we name you, that's how the university markets you, the Z generation. We have over 13 nationalities in our university, and our nationalities are growing, so I welcome all the foreign students as well to the university, because they bring in a lot of diversity to the campus. They bring a lot of enthusiasm to the campus, because it allows us to learn from each other's cultures. It allows us to interact with different cultures which we would not be aware of. We also introduce many innovative things, such as most of the universities would have competency-based transcripts. But what we've done is we've done with an electronic portfolio, which is again something we are trying to patent, because this would probably be the only university which is doing this. From year one itself, the student will be given a portfolio which is digital, which is electronic. And what this does is allow us to track in a meaningful way what the child is doing throughout his career. It allows us that whether the course he's taking is really tuned to the course that he desires or is doing well in. It also allows the student to understand whether he's excelling in that particular field. Because what happens, many of the engineers who graduate out of our institutes sometimes are not employable. And there's no point when these engineers can't be employed, because you have most of these big companies like the Tatas, the Microsoft, who come to us, then they give us a 6-month training program, and then they become employable engineers. And it's a shame that these colleges produce these kind of engineers, because a university's moral obligation is to create a student that goes out into the industry and can start working in that industry that very day, or he brings value to that organization. And I think as a university, we'll work on this, focus on this, that not only are you employable the day you go, but even before you graduate, you start working with the industry. Because we just don't want you to work in the industry, we want you to create your industry. We want you to create centers of excellence, because not everyone is up for employment. Someone wants to be a Bill Gates, someone wants to be a Tesla, and there are so many inspiring figures that you want to become, and you should. Just 10 minutes ago, some of the children came to me and they said that we want to take a selfie with the president. And I was very happy, because you always feel nice if someone's taking a selfie with you. You feel wanted and loved. But what I would want you to say is that you become so big, you become so great, that you come back to this university and I would request you for a selfie. That's the dream I want to see. I would want a selfie with you one day. That's the student I want out of this organization. I want to thank everyone at the university, because humility is something which is in our DNA. Humility is something that my father is taught. Humility is something that my grandfather imbibed in my father. And I think we all grow. We all grow because of the blessings of the people, because of the blessings of the Almighty. And I think without the blessings and the goodwill and the support of people, you cannot never grow. So first of all, I would like to thank you all lovely students, because without the students, this university wouldn't exist. So thank you very much, dear students. I would like to thank all my dear team members, that includes the excellent staff that we have, both national as well as international. I would like to thank all the people who are associated with this university, because when a university operates, there is a lot of work going on in the background. There are many unsung heroes which we don't hear of. I am the face of the university. The Vice Chancellor is the face of the university. Ridesh comes and talks to you. But there are many unsung heroes who work in the background, and I would like to salute them and bow in reverence. Many such people I would like to name. Ramesh Patil is one of them. Taruna Maheshwari is one of them. Dr. Khedkar is amongst us. Dr. Sangram, Sushant Patil. And I would like to thank right from the sweeper to the cleaner, म्हणजे माझे जे शिपाई आहेत, जे कर्मचारी आहेत, त्यांच्यावर माझं अत्यंत प्रेम आहे. कारण ही संस्था तुमची आहे, आपली आहे, आपण सगळ्यांनी घडवली आणि तुमचा ह्याच्यावर तेवढाच अधिकार आहे जेवढा माझा आहे. I would like to thank right from the peon to the Vice Chancellor for making this organization what it is. We have one DY Patil family. We will continue to build this DY Patil family. And we will build it for the better of humanity. We will not work only for self-pride and for self-respect and for selfish motives. We have to work for a greater good, because the world needs a greater good. I think if we only thought about ourselves, then the world would not be such a beautiful place. Two particular individuals I would like to talk about. I have the former minister here, Sri Rajesh Topeji, and I thank him for coming here, because Topeji was instrumental in the legislation for the Private Universities Act. And private university owners, stakeholders worked very closely with him when these statutes were being made. And it was a tough time, because there was a lot of political opposition. There was a lot of opposition from many parts, not only political opposition, but just generally opposition to a good idea. And I think it was his leadership that really took this act into light. And I thank him, because the decision you took today has flourished into universities all across Maharashtra. And there are these students studying in these universities. So meaningfully educated child is a resource not only to India, not only to Maharashtra, but to the world. So thank you, Sri Rajesh Topeji. And I'm particularly grateful to you for the support that you offered me personally. We also have Sri Ranjit Patil ji. Again, I have Dr. Ranjit Patil ji. I have interacted closely with him. And perhaps it's my good fortune that I come across politicians who are really not like politicians. I mean, they are very astute politicians. But I think the goodness that exists in some of these individuals is by far completely unique to what the public perception about politicians is. Because when it comes to health, Dr. Ranjit Patil will pick up the phone in 1 minute and come to our rescue whenever it's needed. I'm extremely grateful to Dr. Ranjit Patil, because he has helped me in my really testing times, in times where I've been in trouble, and at times I'm not able to express. There are emotions that I have for Dr. Ranjit Patil which cannot be expressed at this forum. But there are two pillars amongst us today here, because of this two pillars this university has stood. And on this pillar rests the house. And the house I would like to mention is no other than the Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Sri Devendra Fadnavis ji. Now you will say that I'm talking about politicians, I'm talking about chief ministers, I'm talking about politicians. But I need to, because I think people need to know that a lot of people work in the background without any expectations. They just work in the background to help people like me. And I'm grateful to the current Chief Minister, who did not hesitate to get this University Act into consultation, because when I went to him, I was trying to plead my case that Honorable Chief Minister, here is a university that I'm trying to set up, etc., etc. And I was trying to plead my case. He just stopped me and he said, I've already studied your case, you put in a lot of work, and your work will be done on merit. So why have you come to the Chief Minister to get the job done? Your work will be done. So this is the greatness of this man. This is the Chief Minister that we have. I've seen many Chief Ministers. I've talked to several Chief Ministers. But I'm particularly grateful to this Chief Minister, because my father mentions about many people who have helped him in his lifetime. I would like to continue to talk about these individuals who have helped me in my lifetime, because every individual has a pillar behind them, and these are my pillars. And today I offer my gratitude to these individuals. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sure you will hear about the doctorates here because we have a very distinguished line of doctorates here. We have amongst us Neeraj Shah, we have Srimati Anita Garware, we have the Right Honorable Congressman Todd Rokita, we have Yuli Tamir, we have Kazuo Tanaka, and the university is truly honored with your presence. The university is in gratitude for you accepting this award, as much as I'm sure you are happy of receiving this award, but we feel greatly honored that you are receiving this doctorate, because not only will this encourage the university, it will also inspire all this young talent that is going out into the real world, because you have achieved outstanding success in your own individual fields. Each one, you have many stories to tell. Each individual will have many examples of how life can be meaningful. Each one of you can be an inspiration for all the students who graduate. So thank you very much, honorable members, for accepting the doctorate from this university, because it gives us value, it gives us a sense of satisfaction that you are at this university. And again, I tell you that education is just not a degree. Even without a degree, you can become an outstanding individual. You can become a great human being. So you have to really strive to work for the betterment of the world, to develop things that you really want to do. I speak a little bit about the environment as well, because what I feel is, scientifically we know that the planet has been in existence for about 4 billion years, perhaps even more, but that's scientifically proved, unless somebody else proves that we are older. At least that's when mankind appeared on Earth. And I think the planet pretty much remained untouched, it remained fertile, it remained green, its whole ecosystem was working in harmony with each other, animals living amongst each other, and the habitat was maintained in a very natural way. And then come the humans, who are sophisticated, who are intelligent, who are educated, and who are the superior species. And what have we done? We have really destroyed the world. We've caused pollution, we've caused environmental damage, we've caused wars, we've caused famines, we've changed the climate. And I think it marvels me, or rather it startles me, that we use our intelligence to really pilfer the planet. So how are we really an intelligent species? Were the species before us more intelligent, or are we the intelligent one? So I think we need to look back and think as to how we can evolve, how we can become a better human to change the planet, and to make this planet a more humane planet, where people think about love for each other, affection for each other. There is so much poverty around the world. You see, many countries can't feed their population. Some countries throw away their food. And I think this disparity exists because of the greed of the humankind. And I think we all need to think, because you particularly are the future of the world, not only of India. You are the future of the planet. And you must challenge convention. You must challenge and question what is wrong. What may be right may be wrong, because you have to challenge that idea. And you have to think in a different direction. So I urge you all that create your own empire, create your own world. But at the end of the day, make it more meaningful for other people. Make it more meaningful for the planet to survive. We say the planet is being devastated. I wouldn't say the planet is being devastated. The planet will remain where it is. It will keep spinning. It's the humans that are being devastated. We are the only ones hurting ourselves. Is this a planet that you want to leave for your future generation? Is this what you want to do for the children who are going to come, for the grandchildren who are going to come? We've reached space. We are conquering the moon. Perhaps maybe an alien invasion from some other galaxy would unite this planet. I think that's the only solace we can get. So we have to stop fighting amongst ourselves. For example, when I talk of my own country, India, and I think we have many politicians or many people in the authority who really try to do change, who try to do good things, but they're always criticized for what they don't do. But what about us as citizens? What about us as civilians? A rule and example was set to wear helmets in Pune city. And I'm flabbergasted that there are organizations opposing this rule for not using helmets. So why would you want to oppose something which saves your lives, which which is really caring for you. If the law is in respect for your life, then I think we should respect it. And it's just not about helmets. Helmets is an example I'm giving you. Basic traffic discipline, care for others, cleanliness in your country, care for the elders. These are little values that are taught to us in school. There used to be a class in school called the civics class, where they used to say, look left, look right, then cross the road. Keep your house clean, keep your country clean. And I think those were all lost when we grew up. But I think these are very important things and little things that make you a better person, that make you a better country. And I think you must focus on that aspect within you as to how I can change the society, how I can make this country for me, for my people, a better place to live in. I think I've spoken enough because I can go on and on. I'm very excited because this is our convocation ceremony and it gives me a great sense of relief that so many students are graduating. Just before I go, I'm going to talk to you about two M's. And the two M's I refer to is, from M comes mother and from M comes mandir. ये दो बातें हैं, M से माँ आती है और M से मंदिर आता है. मंदिर यानी जो मन से चाहता है वो मंदिर के अंदर जा सकता है. जिसके पास ज्ञान हो, जिसके पास ध्यान हो, वो केवल मंदिर में जा सकता है और वहाँ से स्फूर्ति पा सकता है. इस विश्वविद्यालय को आप एक मंदिर समझिए, यहाँ से ज्ञान ले जाइए, यहाँ पे ध्यान लगाइए और इस जग को बदल दीजिए. मैं दूसरे एम के बारे में कहना चाहता हूँ, विच इज द मदर. मदर से आप एम निकाल दो, वो अदर हो जाते. तो माँ का ध्यान रखिए, माँ का ख्याल करिए. Always love and respect your mother. Today I established a statue of my dear mother Pushkalata just in this courtyard. Dr. Shigli was very kind to erect it. My father almost had tears in his eyes. I almost cried when I saw that statue. Respect your mother. She's given you birth. She's the Lakshmi of your house. She's the Saraswati of your house. She will guide you, protect you. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, all the best. Good luck. Go conquer the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ajeenkya Patil is the current Minister of State for Home Urban for the state of Maharashtra, a member of Maharashtra Legislative Council. He is representing Amravati Grajhar Voter Sangh since 2011. In December 2014, under the leadership of Devendra Fadnavis BJP government, he has been taking over the responsibility of Maharashtra State Minister for Home Affairs, Urban Development, General Administration, Law and Justice and Parliamentary Affairs. Dr. Ajeenkya Patil is a well-known orthopedic surgeon and a skilled political leader. He is the president of the BJP's medical wing of Akola. He has served as the vice president of the medical branch of Maharashtra from 2007 to 2012 and also as the state secretary of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Dr. Ajeenkya Patil has done human work to strengthen Vidarbha region and Bharatiya Janata Party in the state. May I now invite Dr. Ajeenkya Patil, Minister of State for Home Urban, State of Maharashtra, to kindly deliver the address.
On the eve of third convocation of Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil University, honorable dignitaries on dais, my friend and former Minister of Higher and Technical Education, Mr. Rajesh Toke sir, Honorable His Excellency Dr. David Colvin Pollard, High Commissioner of Guyana of India, Honorable Dr. Abdullah Al-Saivani, CEO of City Properties and leading businessman from Dubai, my contemporary and from the same profession, and proud that today being elected as the President of Federation of Obstetric and Gynecological Society of India, Dr. Nandita Palshetkar, President of this university, Dr. Ajeenkya Patil, the members of Governing Council, the members of Academic Council, the another dignitaries on dais. Friends, I know this university is being, as I had rightly pointed by Dr. Ajeenkya, the success is decided not by the captain of the team but the members and the crew of the team. I should attribute all this success of this campus to the team, the teachers, the administrative staff, and as again rightly pointed by the Ajeenkya, the class 3 and the class 4 employees who are the first contact points, the press reporter over here, the students who are in the process of graduation, the post-graduation, and the function which is being held for the students who are just graduated. Let me tell you that graduation is not a full stop to the education. I must admit here that I myself was not present for my convocation. This I had shared with my friend Mr. Rajesh Tope also, because those days and still now also, even in those days, mere graduation was not an end of the education, that was mere comma and not full stop. Friends, we have been gathered here for third convocation ceremony. Congratulations to everyone. This very moment is important because the student I see in front of me, who will walk out with degrees in their hands, will live with a hope, a promise that will use their knowledge to create a progressive community and consequently a progressive Maharashtra. I can remember my days. I too have witnessed and experienced the hard work that goes into earning of degree and the happiness of holding it in your hand, which you are and will experience now. For me, once a doctor was always a doctor. It's another thing that, though I am doctor and surgeon at heart, but presently serving in the state of Maharashtra from the department which I had not taken the education. You are graduating from an eminent college like D.Y. Patil, Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil University. And therefore I appeal to you that you should put your energy in taking the boon of not only the healthcare and the other faculties which you are endured into, the economic stability, the basic infrastructure facilities to those sections of the society who have no means to get them. Because your educational qualification is not just a degree nor is it way of employment. It is a moral duty to fulfill the need of everyone who comes to, be it anybody. We do not look for their caste, creed, color, age, gender, but we look for and treat them as a human being. Gaining knowledge and spending your whole life to serve people is a form of tapasya. I believe you are all ready to take and the responsibility. India has the largest number of youngsters that makes you the crucial part in building a strong educated India. As you all know, in India, we have 40% of population below the age of 25, and it is also hold as a capital our gain, our prosperity, and we are aiming to be a Vishwaguru only on the basis of that. For the medical students, here I would like to say that we have to go through pretty rough patches, may it be any field, not only medical. For this one needs to be stay neutral. For example, if doctor saves a life, people will call him a god. But in negative situations, there have been instances of people attacking the doctor out of grief and anger. I must say that the common man must not call a god, nor should he be blamed. Just like it applies to a layman, the same goes to any professional man. He should not hold pride of being referred to as a god, nor should he feel guilty being blamed. Neutrality is the essence here. Here I remember the lines which always Mr. D.Y. Patil quote, to whom I refer as a fatherly figure. He says, ego is the death of life, whereas death of ego is a real life. We can try and follow his thought and reach the heights of success in any field of your choice. And I am proud. Today I heard Ajeenkya for the first time. I am sure he is following the paths and the footpaths shown by Dr. D.Y. Patil. In providing health facilities, the economic facilities, the basic infrastructure, the security, the human empowerment, and all such other areas of development, the central and state government are doing their best. One thing I should say, Dr. Ajeenkya was telling, I have also experienced this thing in my life. Nothing in this world is permanent but change, no matter into which field you are. Innovation is a mantra. As you all know, for example, I should quote, being an orthopedic surgeon, about 28 years in my first year of my graduation, I learned anatomy, physiology. Over hundreds of years, the anatomy of a human being must have remained same. But having passed and taken my postgraduate degree in orthopedics and started practicing in the society, the implants which we use to osteosynthesize, that is fixation of fractures, they change every 2 years. If I had only preached using those implants which I used to use in my postgraduate days, probably I would have wiped out. Probably Dr. Nandita must be well aware of this thing. Now robotics had come, and if we don't go by innovation, probably the very purpose of our education fails. So I appeal to you to come forward and extend also the helping hands in your respective field. Friends, I need to be precise. Youth, especially educated youth, are an important part of the society, and government is already and equipped to deal with the problems of our service. Here, students from design, the film studies, the IT, the management, the medical, etc. are present, and it is almost as if I can see the face of future overall development in you. I am honored and thankful to the college for having me here. Congratulations to all students and best luck for your bright future. Thank you, one and again.
I request Registrar Sir to please start the medals and degree conferment.
I present to you, sir, 7 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of the degree of Masters in Automobile Design, and pray that they may be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Master in Automobile Design, and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable guest, Dr. Ranjit Patil, to please hand over the certificates to the admitted students present here today. Chaitanya Naseri, Noel Leitao, Prashant Khalko, Rohit Kumar, Swatish Thiago. I present to you, sir, 15 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of studies and have been found fit for the award of the degree of postgraduate diploma in digital modeling, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of postgraduate diploma in digital modeling and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable guest, Dr. Ranjit Patil, to please hand over the diplomas to the admitted students present here today. Abhijit Srivastava, MS Abhishek Mano, Nitin Sharma, S. Mahesh, and S. Varun.
Present to sir, 11 students including those in absentia who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of degree of Master of Law, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to award of the degree of Master of Law and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable guest, Dr. Ranjit Patil, to hand over the degree certificates to the admitted students present here today. Abhishek Jha, Abhishek Kumar, Alankriti Harry, Ankita Das, Priyanka Sawant, Sumitra Subudhi.
I present to you, sir, 6 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have found fit for the award of degree of Masters of Business Administration, Media and Communication, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration in Media and Communications and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I now request the Honorable guest, Dr. Ranjit Patil, to hand over the degree certificates to the admitted student present here today. Khushbu Patel, Sagar Jaiswal, Sukhan Hussain, Zainul Lamak, I present to you, sir, sir, 13 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of degrees of Bachelors of Business Administration, Media and Communication, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Bachelors of Business Administration in Media and Communication and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable Guest, Dr. Ranjit Patil, to hand over the degree certificate to the admitted student present here today. Advait Pachure, Aishwarya Hiramat, Aniket Etwani, Devanshu Nimbalkar, Rahul Gupta, Taroni Marathe, Shreyant Putran. I present to you, sir, 3 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of degree of Bachelor of Science in Filmmaking, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Filmmaking and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable Guest, Dr. Ranjit Patil, to hand over the degree certificates to the admitted student present here today. Rashmi Arora, and Venkatesh Pilla.
I present you, sir, 7 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of degree of Master of Technology in Automotive Product Engineering, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Master of Technology in Automotive Product Engineering and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable Guest, Mr. Rajesh Tope, to hand over the degree certificates to the admitted students present here today. Ajay Upadhyay, Nilesh Khairnar, Nirbhay Kumar, Santosh Medijala, Siddharth Sharma, Supinder Gi, I present you, sir, 17 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of degree of Bachelor of Computer Applications, Mobile Application and Cloud Technology, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Bachelor of Computer Applications in Mobile Application and Cloud Technology, and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable Guest, Mr. Rajesh Tope, to hand over the degree certificates to the admitted students present here today. Aishwarya Jadhav Rao, Amit Gaikwad, Aarti Paul, Diksha Kathale, Kshitija Gaikwad, Nitin Galdar, Radhakrishna Mahadik, Ritvik Rajput, Rushikesh Godke, Sagar Lula, Sagarika Rao, Shubham Mandhare, Venkat Ravi Velpula,
I present to you, sir, 7 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration in Business Innovation and Strategy, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration in Business Innovation and Strategy, and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable Guest, Mr. Rajesh Tope, to hand over the degree certificates to the admitted students present here today. Akshay Bhatia, Siddesh Nigod, Vijay Kumar, Yogesh Prajapati, I present to you, sir, 4 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of degree of Master of Business Administration in Digital Marketing and E-Commerce, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration in Digital Marketing and E-Commerce, and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable Guest, Mr. Rajesh Tope, to hand over the degree certificates to the admitted students present here today. Sunil Jore, I present to you, sir, 16 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of degree of Master of Business Administration in Business Analytics, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration in Business Analytics, and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the Honorable Guest, Mr. Rajesh Tope, to hand over the degree certificates to the admitted students present here today. Patil. Harsh Parekh. Harshal Kolte. Lakshmi Sravani Udata. Mohit Agrawal. Nitikesh Patil. Priya Kapoor. And Susnigdha Bhaumik. Thank you very much, sir. I present to you, sir, 44 students, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of degree of Master of Business Administration in Banking and Financial Services, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration in Banking and Financial Services, and charge you to be worthy of the same.
May I request the honorable guest, His Excellency Dr. David Pollard, to hand over the degree certificates to the admitted students present here today. Akash Singh. Abhishek Chauhan. Akash Parmar. Bhaumik Patel. Cynthia Acharya. Diksha Sagi. Devika Menon. Tanashri Ugale. Diksha Pandey. Dilip Mattu. Dipesh Sangla. Harsh Kumar Manpara. Kinnari Pandya. Manish Pati. Ishika Talreja. University flag. Neha Pandit. Nihar Zawar. Prabodha Ramraje. Pragati Sinha. Pranav Jagdale. Praveen Kumar. Priya Sahu. Priyan Maru. Priyanka Kumari Tiwari. Saili Patil. Shraddha Parthe. Srivatsam Manikkat. Smita Singh. Sri Harsha Pandala. Sweetie Rana. Tanushri Somani. Tanveer Kaur. And Vinay Kanade.
Conferment of honorary degree of Doctor of Letters. Congressman Todd Rokita, United States House of Representatives. In recognition of your outstanding contribution to public discourse and education policy.
Raymond, can I just ask you to speak in the mic?
Yes. On this third convocation ceremony of Ajeenkya Patil University, the Academic Council of the University, with the consent of the University Board of Management, has determined that Mr. Theodore Edward Rokita, member of the United States House of Representatives from Indiana's 4th Congressional District, be awarded the Doctor of Letters honoris causa of this university. It is a great privilege for our university and to the current and future graduates that he has accepted this honor. Mr. Todd Rokita has been a committed, effective, and persistent advocate for the people. He has always combined passion with powerful advocacy rooted in larger public good. He is a natural leader and an innovative legislator, having introduced and supported several important legislations throughout his illustrious political career. Mr. Todd Rokita has made significant contribution to education. Through his diligent efforts, he successfully ensured that the power of educating children is transferred back to those who know best, parents, teachers, and local school districts. Throughout his legislative career, he confronted some of America's most critical issues, including national debt, transportation infrastructure, and workforce development. For his distinguished contribution to the society and his numerous attainments, the university is pleased to confer upon Mr. Theodore Edward Rokita the Doctor of Letters honoris causa with all its rights and privileges. May I request the Honorable President to confer the D.Litt degree on Mr. Theodore Edward Rokita. Ms. Anita Garware, Social Worker for Children's Causes. In recognition of your outstanding contribution to children's causes, on this third convocation ceremony of Ajeenkya Patil University, the Academic Council of the University, with the consent of the University Board of Management, has determined that Ms. Anita Garware, the Social Worker for Children's Causes, be awarded the Doctor of Letters honoris causa of this university. It is a great privilege for a university and to the current and future graduates that she has accepted this honor. Ms. Anita Garware, through 45 years of dedicated service to the cause of children, heritage and education, has contributed immensely to the society and to the nation. She has been a model professional with calm purposefulness, driven by a keen sense of social justice. Determinedly low profile, she has done extraordinary work for children's causes with constancy and dedication. As Trustee and Honorary General Secretary of the Society for Rehabilitation of Crippled Children, SRCC, since 1989, she successfully redeveloped the 60-year-old Children's Orthopedic Hospital and established the first world-class SRCC Children's Hospital at Haji Ali. Ms. Anita Garware raised the profile of cultural heritage with innovation, integrity, and generosity. As chairperson of the Indian Heritage Society, Mumbai, she has made every effort to bring awareness of cultural and built heritage and to carry it forward to the future generations. She started the prestigious Banganga Festival in 1992, promoted art in the park concept to collaborate with people from different religion and economic status at a common place. For a distinguished contribution to the depressed society and a dedication to the cause of heritage and education, the university is pleased to confer upon Ms. Anita Garware the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa with all its rights and privileges. May I request the Honorable President to confer the D.Litt degree on Ms. Anita Garware. Ms. Yuli Tamir, President Shankar College of Engineering and Design, Israel. In recognition of challenging and helping young people to create and think, on this third convocation ceremony of Ajeenkya Patil University, the Academic Council of the University, with the consent of the University Board of Management, has determined that Ms. Yuli Tamir, the President of Shankar College of Engineering and Design, Israel, be awarded the Doctor of Letters honoris causa of this university. It is a great privilege for our university and to the current and future graduates that she has accepted this honor. Miss Yuli Tamir, one of the leading educationists in Israel, a former education minister of Israel, she led the Ofek Hadash New Horizon reform, one of the broadest reforms that were implemented in the Israeli education system in the past decades. Her lifelong ambition is to erase social inequality among people from different economic background and put in place a uniform education structure. Through her writing, she has regularly progressed the cause of liberalism, education, nationality, feminism, and human rights. Her book, Liberal Nationalism, is a critical theory accosting liberals not to surrender the concept of nationalism to conservative, chauvinist, or racist ideologies. Her book, Why Nationalism, makes a passionate argument for different kind of nationalism that revives its participatory, creative, and egalitarian virtues. This book is a timely and essential rethinking of a defining feature of our politics. She is the founding member of the Israeli peace movement, Peace Now, and served as the chairperson of the Israeli Association of Civil Rights. For a distinguished contribution to the society and her numerous attainments, the university is pleased to confer upon Miss Yuli Tamir the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, with all its rights and privileges. May I request the Honorable President to confer the D.Litt degree on Miss Yuli Tamir. Mr. Kazuo Tanaka, President and CEO, GK Design Group, Japan. In recognition of extending the power of design to change the world for better, on this third convocation ceremony of Ajeenkya Patil University, the Academic Council of the University, with the consent of the University Board of Management, has determined that Mr. Kazuo Tanaka, the President and CEO of GK Industrial Design Incorporation, be awarded the Doctor of Letters, honoris causa of this university. It is a great privilege for our university and to the current and future graduates that he has accepted this honor. Kazuo Tanaka is a design pioneer in true sense. He has been the leading voice in the world of design for past several years. He has demonstrated exceptional commitment to design and has worked relentlessly to serve, shape, discover and imagine contemporary solutions to the evolving needs of our society through his work and leadership of GK Design, a multidisciplinary global design agency. Through his contribution and leadership of public organizations like Japan Industrial Designers Association, Japan Institute of Design Promotion, and World Design Organization, he has successfully established design as a key factor for increasing competitiveness and economic performance and to ensure quality of life of citizens. Apart from his achievements, Mr. Tanaka has also served as an educator, design critic, and design juror. He has been a juror for Good Design Award, Red Dot Design Award, Brown Prize, IF Design Award, China Red Star Design Award, and Australian Good Design Awards. For his distinguished contribution to innovation, design, the society, and his numerous attainments, the university is pleased to confer upon Mr. Kazuo Tanaka the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, with all its rights and privileges. May I request the Honorable President to confer the D.Litt degree on Mr. Kazuo Tanaka. Mr. Neeraj Shah, Executive Director, ANZ Banking Group Limited. In recognition of your outstanding contribution to banking in India, on this third convocation ceremony of Ajeenkya Patil University, the Academic Council of the University, with the consent of the University Board of Management, has determined that Mr. Neeraj Piyush Shah, the Executive Director of ANZ Banking Group Limited, India, be awarded the Doctor of Letters honoris causa of this university. It is a great privilege for our university and to the current and future graduates that he has accepted this honor. The ANZ Banking Group, under the dynamic leadership of Mr. Neeraj Shah, saw phenomenal growth and earned the distinction as one of India's most trusted banking institutions. He was a key member which set up ANZ banking operations in India. He was instrumental in developing and implementing the India business strategy across products, clients, and geographies. Mr. Neeraj Shah has had a profound impact on the Indian banking sector over many years by supporting new approaches and in the same vein inspiring others. He has demonstrated a proven ability to build and grow businesses and identified creative ways to engage with customers. With a strong combination of local commitment and global expertise and a track record of financial innovations and pioneering activities, he has led with solid performances. For his distinguished contribution to the banking sector and his numerous attainments, the university is pleased to confer upon Mr. Neeraj Piyush Shah the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa with all its rights and privileges. May I request the Honorable President to confer the D.Litt degree on Mr. Neeraj Piyush Shah.
May I request only the graduates to stand.
Yeah, I'm going to say the pledge, but I want to hear it out. Huh? You all should say loudly. I hereby pledge that as a graduate of the Ajeenkya Patil University, it shall be my constant endeavor to use my knowledge, experience and skills for the well-being of my community and for the advancement of learning and public good. I will conduct myself with honesty and integrity, taking responsibility for my actions and respecting the rights, opinions and dignity of all. I will maintain my competency, keep abreast of developments in my chosen fields. I will strive to better my communities through good citizenship and active participation. I will be a loyal ambassador for my university and will seek to promote its welfare and maintain its reputation. Thank you.
May I now invite Congressman Todd Rocketa, United States House of Representatives, to kindly deliver his address.
Thank you. It is my true honor to be here with you all today in Pune. I want to thank you President Dr. D.Y. Patil, for your hospitality and for this great honor. I want to thank you for your remarks. They were right on the spot. I also want to thank one of your founding members of the Board of Governors, Dr. Mac Jadakar, for his invitation to be here, to fly halfway across the world over the North Pole to be with you here tonight. See, he is a recently retired executive at Pfizer Pharmaceutical Company. He, so you know, associated with this university for sure, but was also part of the leadership team that brought the world blockbuster pharmaceuticals such as the Z-Pak, Viagra, and Zoloft. So now you know why he's retired from Pfizer. He can afford to be. But really, even though I received this wonderful honor from you all this evening, this is not my day. This is the day for our graduates. This is a day for their families, for their parents, for their brothers and sisters, for everyone who sacrificed so that they could be here tonight. So I simply want to say on behalf of the people of Indiana, right in the middle, the center of the USA, as well as the people of the United States, congratulations. You worked hard. We thank you. From my first role in elected public office, I had many opportunities to strengthen our nation's relations with India and bolster the Indian communities in the United States. I recently learned that if you just change the emphasis of our state, Indiana, and say it like this, India Anna, it means welcome to India. I became the first statewide elected official in the state of Indiana to make an official diplomatic trip to India more than a decade ago. It was during my time as Indiana's Secretary of State. And I'm proud to say this is my fourth trip now to India. In 2014, as a member of Congress, I had the honor of meeting with your Prime Minister, Prime Minister Modi, who had just been elected. I saw him speak in New York City. And then again, to a joint session of the Congress in our U.S. Capitol, representing all of you. Your Prime Minister spoke on the shared values of our nations, noting his role in representing the world's largest democracy, India, while speaking in the world's oldest democracy, the United States. There is one line from his speech that continues to ring true for me today. He said, "The traits of freedom and liberty from a strong bond between our two democracies. Our nations may have been shaped by diverse histories, cultures, and even faiths. Yet our belief in democracy for our nations and liberty for our countrymen is common. The mutual desire for freedom has built a strong bond between our nations, more than others, and has unleashed prosperity here in India, in the United States, and for us across the globe. The principles of free markets, elected democracy, and the rule of law have opened the door for opportunity and freedom to flourish, while lifting billions out of poverty across the globe. We see these values on display here at a university as prestigious as this, where freedom and innovation are the highest goals. It's been my honor to represent many innovative companies and work with leaders in the Indian American community back in Indiana. Indian American companies like Autoline Industries in Butler, Indiana, KPIT Infosystems in Columbus, Indiana, Noelis Corporation in Terre Haute, Indiana, Awesomum Biosolutions in Indianapolis, and Predot Technologies in Indianapolis. You see, India's investment in the United States has been of great value, and I hope the United States investment in Indiana continues to yield prosperity, jobs, and innovation for the men and women of this great country. In fact, I just saw Cummins Engine, an Indiana company, has built its India headquarters in Pune. Another great recent example of this is when Infosys, the India-based information technology giant that you all know of, announced that their U.S. campus, a $245 million U.S. campus, will be right here in Indiana. This means hundreds of new jobs for families in my state and new wealth and opportunity for India. These bonds make us strong, but it is the values that this university cherishes that will take us to new heights. The values of freedom, the values of innovation, the values of education, the values of being the best, always. In fact, that's your motto, always the best. This is a motto that I see here among the students and faculty as I visited with you, and it is one I see lived out with the Indian Americans I have gotten to know so well back in Indiana. Indian Americans are making great gains in healthcare, technology, pharmaceuticals, and more. And it is the students and leaders from universities just like this that are opening the doors to our joined future. There are great challenges that face our nations today, both of ours, but none that we cannot overcome with the commitment to truth and knowledge bestowed in universities like this. The American jazz composer Duke Ellington, perhaps paraphrasing others, seemed to put it nicely. He said, "A problem is a chance to do your best." Our two nations have always taken on the greater challenges, the biggest problems, and we have overcome together all odds to succeed. And it is that commitment to always be the best that make our nations unique and make our nations exceptional. So I'll close with this. First, thank you for this great honor. Thank you for allowing me to be a small part of a university so committed to innovation and to excellence. Second, I've committed my career to being the best for the men and women I represent in the United States. I will continue to carry your motto, always the best, with me as I return home and continue to fight for the principles that our two nations cherish. And finally, because of the men and women in this university, the leadership, the faculty, and the students, your aspirations to be the best and your commitment to innovation are bringing our two nations closer than ever before, while lifting and improving the lives of future generations of Indians and Americans. And for that, I want to truly say thank you. And most of all, congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rajesh Tope is an Indian politician and member of the Nationalist Congress Party. He won the Ghansavangi constituency of Maharashtra in the State Assembly election in 2014. He was the former Minister of Higher and Technical Education for the state of Maharashtra. He has in-depth knowledge and interest in social activities. He has played an instrumental role in the growth of both the tehsils from the Jalna district, Ambad, and the Ghansavangi region, falling in his constituency. May I now invite Mr. Rajesh Tope, former Minister for Higher and Technical Education, to kindly deliver the address.
Honorable Minister of State and my dear friend Dr. Ranjit Patil, President of Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil University, and the real backbone of this total knowledge campus of Dr. D.Y. Patil, my friend Ajeenkya Patil, Vice Chancellor Honorable Shri Khedkar ji, the new president for the federation, Dr. Nandita Palshetkar, all the members of Management Council, of the Governing Council, the distinguished doctorate on whom the delete has been conferred, the proud parents sitting over here, and the contented and the smiling faces which I can see from here of all the students, those who are passing out and the degrees has been conferred on them. All the distinguished guests and my dear friends, I'm really delighted to be a part of this third convocation of Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil University. Convocation. Actually, this university, I was instrumental when the new law of private university was conceived. First two universities of Amity and Spicer was legislated, and it was in the pipeline, the Ajeenkya University, Ajeenkya Dr. D.Y. Patil University. And so I'm really delighted to be here after 3-4 years to see the campus, to feel the vibrations of this campus and the ambience over here. I'm really impressed, Dr. Ajeenkya, to see the fabulous infrastructure provided by the management for the students, and so also about the teachers. Those are really backbone for the university. This is a convocation program, and so at the outset I need to first congratulate the passing out students and also the delete doctorate. I take this occasion also to say a big thank you for the whole fraternity of Ajeenkya University, those who have directly or indirectly attributed for the cause of the upliftment and for the enhancement of this university. I should admit to this august gathering that I have really never seen a passionate person for education like Dr. Ajeenkya. I mean to see he is really an obsessed man for education. We had a lengthy meetings when this university and private bill was to be floored on the house, on the floor of the house, was to be tabled on the floor of the house. And so at that point of time, Dr. Ajeenkya and we had a really long discussions, and I really can understand him, the passion for the education, the vision for the vision he has for the education. And I'm confident that the way he spoke as a president of this university and the vision he has, because on the dais I was discussing with him that why don't you compete for the first 200 universities of the world. Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil University should come in the first 200. So he differed from that my suggestion, and he said why we should not have our own recognition as a very separate and very distinct university from other 200 universities. He's so much confident. And I really wish him a grand success for his dream to come true. I had worked as a Minister for Education for some couple of years, and so the real scenario of the overall, not of Dr. Ajeenkya or Ajeenkya D.Y. Patil University I am speaking, but overall scenario of higher education actually is a point of worry. Really speaking, the challenges which I see, first is the unemployment. Students are getting graduated but are not getting jobs from different programs, I mean to say. Even the NASSCOM report, I remember, which mentioned the figure that those passing out as an engineers, out of 100, only 25 are employable. Rest 75 are not really employable. And so they have to work on a salary of 10,000, 15,000, which is really not worth for an engineer. I had read the report of Sam Pitruda where he mentioned 3 magic words: expansion, inclusion, and excellence. These are the 3 aspects of higher education, what he mentioned. Expansion means how many we are really making it to happen to go to the graduation level. At present, those who are passing 12th, out of that, going to the graduation level are 24%. A lot of improvement is needed in this figure as compared to the developed countries. Second is inclusion, that is education for everyone, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Ajeenkya. Democratization of education. So there are a lot of policies of state government which makes it possible for economically and socially backward students to cater and to get admission to the professional courses of engineering, medical, even to the hotel management, etc., etc. So inclusion is also being taken care. I am worried about excellence. The figure which I mentioned, the unemployment figure, the unemployability concern which I mentioned in my speech, the real cause is quality in education or excellence in education. And so, I think lot needs to be done. The vision for higher education, which I think which is proper, is all the programs which we run in higher education, those needs to be relevant, those needs to be futuristic, those needs to be student centric, those needs to be globally competitive, and the skills which we really want to impart, they has to be demand driven, they has to be need based. Then and then only the issue of or concern of unemployability can be addressed. And so I am really proud to mention over here that Ajeenkya Patil University has really overcome all these issues, and I am really confident that unemployability will not be a concern for this university students. The way he was explaining to me that the curriculum, which is really the critical part of higher education, it is being taken care by not only the academic council but also the feedbacks from different higher education stakeholders is being taken, and a proper curriculum which is really relevant and globally competitive is being made available to the students of this university. Teachers are being trained. So these are the important issues which needs to be addressed, and I rightly said that Dr. Ajeenkya is a very passionate person in this education field, and so he will and he has corrected whatever is required for the higher education needs. In his speech, there are a lot of values which he has spoken. I really compliment for that. Because if doctors, engineers, even officers, we become professionals, we get graduated, post-graduated, doctorates, everything we get. Problem is, the really problem lies is the value of life, or value is degrading. There is no honesty being seen. Ethics, morality, principles, all these values are really not seen nowadays in professionals also. And so these needs to be embedded when the students are really pursuing their undergraduate courses. And I am quite sure that Dr. Ajeenkya, being the leader of this university, will take care of the value concern which at large the humanities or the human beings are facing, or the society is facing. Paying back to the society is the concern. Friends, I can quote examples of Narayan Murthy, Azim Premji. Lot many examples I can quote, but these examples shows that this society is knowledge society, and we call it as knowledge economy. as rightly, again, I'm emphasizing that democratization of education. Everyone has a right to take education. And so, by virtue of this education, which is really knowledge is power, and so knowledge economy I am mentioning, we are all behind physical things like भौतिक सुख, हम जैसा बोलेंगे भौतिक सुख, लेकिन भौतिक सुख से भी ज्यादा, यानी भौतिक सुख को हम लक्ष्मी भी कहेंगे. We are all behind money, but before Lakshmi comes Saraswati, and Lakshmi follows Saraswati, I mean to say. So Saraswati is to be prayed and is to be given more importance, so that Lakshmi will follow. And for this, actually, our universities in our country has to go a long way. I really will be more than happy to see when the universities and the industries, they come together, they have a linkage, the industries point out some of the issues, some of the problems to the university, and the university students take that as a project. And as your university is also named as an innovation university, so only I am emphasizing on this point that industry linked project or research project needs to be done, and some of the patents should come out from Ajeenkya Patil University, which we will be really proud to read in the newspaper. And I really keep a lot of hopes from all you students, because this convocation program I see from two perspectives. One is an accomplishment for those who have passed now, a contentment, but an inspiration to those who will be passing in the coming years. So those students, you make up a mindset of a research, and the way, the method in which your teachers are also teaching to you is also a research-based or research-based teaching, what your Vice Chancellor also has mentioned. Lastly, for all my dear students, now you will be pursuing your further higher education. Some may go and join, take some jobs, whatever you may be doing. But my first thing is that Swami Vivekananda ji has said very rightly to all the youths. This is only for the youths. I mean to say ki youths are the real future, as we always say. But the route for the heaven, it really doesn't go through the Bhagavad Gita. It goes through the playground. That means a sound mind in a sound body. That is really being neglected by the students. We are getting distracted from a lot of distractions of life which are coming in between us. And so we have to be focused on our goal. We have to be healthy. We have to be, like again said, कि मन मनगट मस्तक की मशागत की जरूरत है. तेजस्वी, तपस्वी, तत्परता, ये हमारे युवकों का खास तौर पर गुण होना जरूरी है. और यही युवकों से हम और युवाओं से, युवतियों से हम अपेक्षा रख सकते हैं. जो हमारे सभी नेता महासत्ता की जो बात कर रहे हैं, वो महासत्ता तभी मिलेगी जब हमारा युवक मन मनगट मस्तक की मशागत करेगा और तेजस्वी, तपस्वी, तत्पर रहेगा. मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि तभी हमारा देश सभी क्षेत्रों में तरक्की कर पाएगा. I wish a grand success in future for all of you, and again a big thank you for the entire fraternity of Ajeenkya Patil University for achieving this height in a mere span of 3 years. Thank you, one and all.